What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I want to drop a little bit of a mathematical equation on you. All right? Smart women equal smart world. Say it again. Smart women equal smart world. Now, let me explain. Throughout history, we've seen advances in technology, medicine, warfare, travel, communications, all that, right? And a lot of the times we attribute that to men. And rightfully so in some cases. But what we have failed to realize is that despite all of the advances that are attributed to men, we're still missing half of the equation. We're still missing half of the advancement. And it is my belief that that is because for many years, we have stifled the mental progression of women throughout history. And it don't start off with just women. It starts off when they're little girls. So I always say it again. We have stifled the mental advancement of girls that grow into women. Okay? Imagine how many advancements in medicine there would be if there were equally as many women doctors as there are men. Because we know there aren't. There are more men doctors than women. Imagine how many advancements in technology in what they call the STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, math. If there were more, or at least there were an equal amount of women engineers as there are men, because a lot of these fields that advance civilization are dominated by men, right? And to me, that's sad because just imagine how far we could have advanced in medicine if there were more, if there were equally as many women doctors as there are men doctors. Just think about the amount of research that could have been done. You could have got twice the amount of research done. So think about this. There are more women than men in the world. There are more women than men in the world. Yet, there are more men in the STEM fields than there are women. If I'm not mistaken, so the world population, women outnumber men 3-1. So that means for every one male, there are 3 women, right? But if you do that ratio with women doctors, women engineers, women mathematicians, women physicists, astrophysics, um, women mathematicians, like how many Nobel Prize winners are men rather than women? And you could just pick the field. And to me, when I do those numbers in my head, when I do that math in my mind, I see an issue. The issue I see is somewhere along the development of the young boy and young girl during their school time, their informative years, they're growing up, their primary school and elementary school, junior high school, college. During around that time, everything seemed to be going along right. But there's a point where you start to see men continue to go into these fields as opposed to women. And I always wonder, well, when does that happen? When does it happen where there's a split? Because if you ask, in my opinion, if you ask little boys, it's the same as little girls. You know that famous question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think you will get roughly the same answer, right? You will get the same answer. Because I find it very hard to believe that girls don't want nothing to do with science. I find it very hard to believe that girls don't want nothing to do with engineering. I find it very hard to believe that girls want nothing to do with physics and astrophysics and chemistry. I find it very hard to believe that. I find it very hard to believe that all little girls want to do is grow up and learn how to cook, or be an administrative assistant. I find it very difficult to believe that that's just their goal when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up. Yet, when you look at the numbers of all these advancing fields, because if you don't have science, technology, engineering, math, agriculture in your civilization, you will fail. The civilization or the country or the culture that is at the forefront of these fields always have the upper hand. Always. It's been proven throughout history. Whoever whoever is at the frontier of science, engineering, or science, technology, engineering, I put agriculture into agriculture and math. Whoever is at the forefront of that will always have a head start, have an advantage in the world. That's been proven throughout the history of the human species. So if we know that, wouldn't it be better to have double the brain power if the same incentive? Because what I do, I don't see the same incentive when it comes to women in the STEM fields that I see with men. I don't see it. And just think about the loss that you have in a culture, in a society where you know they say two heads are better than one. Well, imagine what would happen if you had more women, or not even more, just the same amount. Like forget more. How about however amount of men you have in the engineering field, same amount for women? Imagine what could happen. You have all this power, this brain power being stifled at really a young age. Because it really happens when you have that the junior high school time. It's right around that time where you start seeing the divide, the split, right? You ask a little girl what they want to be, ask a little boy what they want to be, they'll probably give you the same answer because both of the children believe that they can be whatever they want to be. That's what adults tell them. You can be whatever you want to be. So that little girl has the same dreams and aspirations as a little boy. They want to be astronauts too. But something happens. Something happens in their growth that there's a split. There's a divide going on where girls, they still may want to be, but the incentive isn't as strong for the girl as it is for the boy. And then when you grow up to young women, young men, and adult women, you now have the men still being incentivized to be those things, but the women not so much. And that's sad. Now, here's one thing I see. I do see now, especially in this day and age, in this technological social media age, it's starting to shift. It's starting to change, and I like that. But I always say, smart women equals a smart world. All right, two heads are better than one. Dig that. Peace.